welcome to my kitchen and an episode of Help 'em in a Hurry, What's for Dinner. Haven't done one of those in a while, and really this is just showing you what we're gonna have for dinner tonight. It's really nothing special, but it is something that we like to have occasionally, and Molly has been asking for this for a couple of weeks, and we finally got to it tonight. We're gonna have ham and pierogies and fried cabbage. That's really simple. And it's even more simple. You can make your own pierogies and take them out of the freezer. I did not have any homemade pierogies today, so I did the next best thing and I bought the pierogies that I prefer out of the grocery store freezer, which are these kind. Okay, so if you've never tried pierogies, you're gonna love them. They're little ravioli pocket kind of pasta pockets that have potato and cheese inside, and they're absolutely delicious. But you gotta do a little more to them than just boil them. And I'm going to show you how I make them. This is how my German grandmother used to make them. But even more special than that, I have a very special memory about pierogies, and I'll share that with you when we're doing this. I'm just going to show you. I kind of use the same pan for everything, but the first thing we're going to do is cook off the pierogies, and then we're going to just set them aside in a little dish. Then we're going to take the same pan after we drain the water out, and we're going to go ahead and fry the cabbage. And apple, onion, a little butter, and then I've got my ham slices here, and we're going to stick those in there to heat up, and then we're going to have supper. So without further ado, right here I have this is my big skillet, my deep skillet, and I filled it with water, and I salted it a little bit, and I brought it to a boil. So what I'm going to do now is I just dump that whole bag right in there, okay? Give it a little zhuzh with your spoon. You don't want them to stick together. Now, the trick with these is that when they float, they're done. And I just remove them over here. This is the lid to my skillet, like that. And I just invert it onto a bowl, because this helps me, then I don't have to dirty another dish and all of that. So, after these cook, we're going to go ahead and saute them, and then we're going to put them in a little casserole dish. But my happy memory of pierogies, when I was very small, my nanny, my German grandmother, who is my mother's mother, or was my mother's mother, pardon me, she had some neighbors. She lived, well, we all lived in New Jersey when I was small, so, pardon me, I'm trying to get the casserole dish out of my lower cupboard, and it's being a pill. Here we go. Anyway, Nanny lived next door to a Polish man who I always called Uncle Frank. And he lived with his two sisters, who were also Polish. And, I mean, they were like Polish immigrants. And twice a year, at Easter and Christmas, they, in the weeks, leading up to the holiday, they would make enough pierogi to last to the next holiday. So every April or so, they would make pierogi to last until Christmas, and then every Christmas or so, or leading up to that, they would make pierogi to last until Easter. When I was really small, I remember spending some time with my nanny and going over to Uncle Frank and his sister's house, and I can't remember for the life of me their names, and watching them make pierogies. And I'm telling you what, until you have watched an old Polish woman make pierogi, and now I was very small, I was 5 or 6 years old, I had no clue that I was supposed to be appreciating that, but I certainly do now. And I certainly do remember how delectable the pierogies were. Now, they used to make several different kinds. They would make potato and onion, potato and cheese, plain potato. Sometimes they would put a little shredded beet inside with the potato. So it was different. And every single one of them were amazing. But the one thing that I do remember is how they cooked them after they would dry. They would roll them out and hand form them and all of this. Then they would let them sit out for a little while to dry the outside on towels covered with flour, and then they would freeze them. But they always shared, and I always remember having pierogi as a child because of Uncle Frank and his sisters. But now I buy them in the freezer. I have made them in the past, a very long time ago, before I even met Rick. Pierogi are easy. Now, if you want to see a really great demonstration of how to make pierogi, I'll put a link in the underbar to Bev, the Mrs. Volfe, who has now, she's on a really special trip right now, and she's not uploading this week, but I'll put a link to a video that she did making pierogies. It's probably 2 years old, but it's still a really, really good example of how to make pierogi. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull one of these out. These are almost finished. They're just about all floating. And you can see after I put the frozen pierogi in the boiling water, it kind of brought the boil died down a bit, but they're still cooking. You see, they really are kind of floating in there. So I am going to start pulling them out because they'll finish cooking when we do the next step. Oh, I should use my spider. He's sitting here whispering spider to me. I'm thinking, is there a spider somewhere? Where? Where's the spider? He's trying to tell me to get my spider because it'd be easier. You know, honey, they like it when you talk.
You're killing me.
They like it when you talk. You don't have to whisper. Y'all do realize Rick is behind the camera every day, right? Alright. These go away. I'm going to leave the burner on medium. I'm going to dump this water out. Whew. And I'm just going to now, don't have a cow, okay? You have to have butter to saute these. We're going to try and get away with half a stick. Now, get this in here all melty and nice. And this, you know what? You can have this dinner on the table in about a half an hour, and it's very satisfying, and it makes a lot. You can feed easily, you could feed 6 to 8 people with this meal the way I've cooked it. We're going to have leftovers for dinner on Friday out of this. That's why I'm making a double batch. Or I'm making enough to feed 8 people, technically. So this is just an example. And pierogi are something you can make directly from your food storage. You don't have to, you know, if you think about it, pierogi dough is nothing more than water and flour and a little salt, maybe some egg. And then the filling you could easily make from potato flakes and a little powdered cheese, or fresh cheese that you've maybe waxed. Definitely we need to think outside the box. We can have all of the things that we love even if we're living in a post-apocalyptic world. You know, I tend to think in terms of Donna Reed, you know. I don't want things to change that much, but I know that they may someday. But I think about how is the best way that I can make life the most comfortable in the worst circumstances for my family, you know? Because if my family are happy and healthy and fed, then I know that I'm going to be happy. And we kind of have to think about those things even though we might not want to. So I'm going to do 1 round of these. It usually takes me 2 rounds in the pan to, and then I have to use my asbestos fingers to get these all finished. But I'm going to show you. When you put these in here, they're going to stick. Don't force them. These will tell you when they're ready to flip. You see, they're not sticking now. But at first they're going to stick. And I can smell the butter starting to get brown, so I'm going to turn the burner down a little. And it's not necessary to cook these until they're golden. It's just necessary to cook them until you can see the outsides are a little bit brown and ever so slightly blistered. Okay? Like this one, I'd probably like a little more. They're going to dry out a little bit, basically. And they're going to be absolutely delicious. So, let's see if one is ready here and I can show you. I like them to be, I like them to have a little bit of a, there, that's how you want it to look, just like that, okay? Now I'm going to take these out, and I'm just going to put them into this little casserole dish I have waiting over here, and I'm going to keep them warm, and then we're going to do the rest of the pierogies, and then I'm going to go and do the rest of the pierogies. And when I come back, I'm going to show you how I do my cabbage and my ham. So we'll be back when it's time to do that. Alright, our pierogies are all finished. And now what I'm doing is, since I put the apples and the onions all in one bowl with the cabbage, I'm just going to put as much of the onion and apple as I could get without too much of the cabbage. I'm going to give those a toss first. This will help to cool the pan down a bit. I also melted a half a stick of butter in there again. So if any of you are keeping track, yes, indeed, I used an entire stick of butter. So in goes this cabbage. Okay. Now, you just want to give this a bit of a toss, and then we're going to go ahead and put the lid on it, and we're going to let it cook for about 5 minutes until it starts to wilt. I am going to go ahead and give it a little salt. Oopsie.
What are you yelling at Tissy for? Tissy didn't do anything.
Starting to be bad.
Tissy didn't do anything to you.
Whoopsie. I just dropped everything all over the floor. No,
Tissy's on it.
Don't like cabbage. Don't like raw cabbage. Okay.
Butter cabbage good.
Huh? She likes it cooked.
With butter on it.
Then we need to give this a little shot of pink salt here, and my shaker doesn't come out very fast. So if that looked like a lot, it really is not. Rhymed. Gonna hit this with the cracked black pepper. And we're just gonna hit it a little bit now. Later on, everybody can season their own serving. The apples and the onions, in my opinion, are imperative to fried cabbage because it's just not the same without them. This is locally grown cabbage I was able to get, and it's absolutely beautiful. And now what we're gonna do, got it on medium heat. Everything is in there for a happy little nap together. And we're going to let that steam saute for about 5 to 6 minutes. When that is ready, and I'm going to come back and show you what we're going to do with the ham. Be back. This actually steam sauteed for about 10 minutes, and I gave it a good stir a couple of times, and now I have just shingled my ham slices right on top. I'm going to go ahead and put the lid back on it. And I'm going to let that steam for another 5 minutes, and then when we come back, we're going to fix your plate of pierogies, ham, and fried cabbage. Hi, Sammy.
For that Sam, we're going to fix your plate.
Yummy, said Mama. I love the plate.
And Ty, too.
Yep.
And Sophie, too.
Mm-hmm. And Sissy. She's way over there.
Sissy's over there.
So we'll be back when this is ready.
Okay, girls.
Okay, our ham and cabbage is all ready, and it's time to eat supper. So let's get you a good helping. I mean, my family loves this meal. And the reason is because it's hearty and it's really delicious. A little bit of meat. Come over here. Do a few pierogies.
But there's a certain way you gotta eat it.
There's indeed a certain way you gotta eat it. And then we come over here and we'll finish it off. You can't have pierogies without what, honey?
Sour cream.
And what else? Anything? No, just sour cream. Sometimes I make additional fried onions. This time I did not. We'll just put a dollop right there and call that delicious. That's supper. Pierogies with fried cabbage and ham. Really easy and quick for the middle of the week, and really hearty. And this meal, I can't wait for autumn to get here, and this meal just screams autumn to me. I make it a few times a year, and Molly loves it. It's one of her favorites. This is probably right up there with her ultra favorite meal, which is, you know, a little hoity-toity. It's steamed salmon with béarnaise sauce and noodles Romanoff. That's one of her other favorite meals. Would you please get down, miss?
I thought you were going to tell me how you eat it.
How do you eat it? You have to have a bite of everything.
A little bit of everything in your bite.
You have to, when you eat it, you have to have a knife and a fork, and you have to have some ham and some cabbage and some pierogi and some sour cream all on the fork at the same time, and you are in for a taste experience and treat. Yes, I forgot. Thank you. Because I don't even think about it, because that's how I like to eat it too. So, this is peasant food, plain and simple, and it's good food, plain and simple. So, if you've never tried pierogies, the next time you're at the grocery store, give them a try. That big bag is about $3. And I know that you're going to love them. So, I hope that this gives you an idea for the middle of the week. It's economical. It's not very expensive at all. Ham steaks, buy them on sale and toss them in your freezer. I like to buy mine at the commissary where I get a package of 3 ham steaks for about $6. I know we all don't have the privilege of shopping at the commissary on a military base, but if you do have the ability to shop at the commissary, that is the way to go because the meat there is usually pretty good. And they usually have really good deals. Several times a year they'll have what they call case lot sales, and you can go in there and buy things on deep discounts, but you do have to be careful. And you have to know your prices in the outside world because sometimes they're not that great. But like I said, pierogies, ham, and cabbage. Easy, quick, and delicious, really nutritious. Make it all at one time and save some for another meal during the week. That way you kill 2 birds with 1 stone and your family will be really happy. I hope you try this and I hope you love it. And until next time, I'll see ya.